The nervous system really is the base layer for healing in our body.
It's core to healing chronic fatigue, trauma, hormonal imbalances, gut dysfunction.
It truly allows your body to rest, recover, and function well.
Nervous system is a lot around people. Our exposure to people, what we think people think about us, that's nervous system too.
Things like humming, singing, gargling, breath work, laughing, these are all things that support your vagus nerve and your vagal tone, and proper detox support.
Every time we see the word detox, we naturally think that it has to be supplementation or that we have to hit the liver hard. We're looking at lifestyle factors now as contributing factors. In order to detoxify our system, we need true applications like walking, meditation, loving yourself, getting a break, not hustle and bustle. So you see how all these top trends, they're not separate, they're all together.
These all weave into each other.
Why is this trending? It's trending because we've gone so far the other way that we have to put in these fancy words to say we have to do all of this stuff. I love trends. Essentially, let's think about it like this. What used to be reserved for holistic, like underground, is quickly becoming conversation. And it's so liberating. This is why it excites me. And people are starting to ask why. Today, if we go through, say, the top 5 trends that we're seeing over and over and over, one of the first ones that I see when they start marketing towards pets, the nervous system, the vagal tone.
Vagal tone, nervous system regulation. These have been really trendy words I found on social lately. You most likely know what your nervous system maybe sort of does, but just in case you don't, you have 2 main parts to your nervous system. You have your central nervous system and you have your peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system is going to be your brain, which processes information, makes decisions, regulates your behavior, has your spinal cord, so this connects the brain to the body, sends and receives signals. So your peripheral nervous system has your somatic system. So this controls voluntary actions like moving your arms and your limbs. Your automatic system, which controls those involuntary actions like your heart rate, digestion, things you don't have to think about that your body just does. And here is where you're going to find your sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight, which responds to stress and danger. Or you will be finding your parasympathetic nervous system. This is rest and digest, supporting healing, digestion, and calming. So this is kind of what your nervous system does in your body if you didn't know. And it truly allows your body to rest, recover, and function well. So let's talk about why we want to regulate it.
Because if you didn't just say that it is basically a master controller from emotion to mobility. So when the vagal tone gets excited, because there's only one vagus nerve, right, from the stomach all the way up, it doesn't just give you the butterflies when you see that person and they're like, oh, that's kind of hot, or that's a first date.
The nervous system really is the base layer for healing in our body.
It's core to healing chronic fatigue, trauma, hormonal imbalances, gut dysfunction, nervous system. This is the sucker, though, I see constantly now. People are talking about the vagus system,
The vagal tone,
the
your vagus
tone,
nerve.
doing different yoga to support the nervous system, what the nervous system is. And again, I most recently saw one, and this is kind of like why I was like, oh my gosh, we got to do trends again, because I saw one and I took a test for my little brewy. And do you know, I'm just letting you know, they came back and said he was highly reactive. No, sir, he is not highly reactive. I take offense to that in my survey, because
I do not accept.
I know. I'm sorry. Why? Because he barks at cars and other dogs?
Oh, then my dog's highly reactive.
Right? I'm like thinking, he doesn't like conflict, these types of things. But because of this, I was like, if this is coming into animals now and we're recognizing animal nervous system. So I did a quick little, hey, what are the top whatever? And sure enough, nervous system was right there. This isn't new, everybody. This is in holistic nutrition, in holistic applications, functional, anything. The nervous system is something we concentrate on from the get-go.
And let's talk about some things that they can be doing to support their nervous system, because it doesn't have to be what supplement do I need to do, like all of these crazy things. Your vagus nerve, so that it's actually how your brain and your gut communicate. You want to have really great vagal tone. Things like humming, singing, gargling, breath work, laughing. These are all things that support your vagus nerve and your vagal tone.
Crank
And like
your music up. Enjoy
crank
a song.
your music up.
Things you love.
We could do tapping, breath. I love breath work. That's easy to do. What's really popular is the somatic practices, Chris. Like, have you seen the reels where it's like the neurogenic tremors? So it's like a natural shaking. So it's like it's a tension and trauma releasing. That can be really great. Myofascial release can help with stored trauma.
What about a sauna? I know it's detoxification, but it's also nervous system regulation.
What about setting boundaries in your life? I've just gotten better at this in the last, I'd say, 5 years. It's okay to say no.
Nervous system is a lot around people, right? Our exposure to people, what we think people think about us. That's nervous system too. I have firm boundaries,
Mhm.
and it's not that I'm stubborn. I'm not willing to compromise myself for the
Yes.
benefit of somebody else. And they're like, "Well, isn't that stubborn?" No,
No.
it's not.
Self-love. It is
I
self-love.
I will not leave my kids alone because I would be worrying the entire time while I was away over a weekend. It is not worth it to me. And it's another word is control with the nervous system. You have to control everything. Again, is it about control? The nervous system is I have to do all of these things before I leave for vacation, and the house has to be spotless, and the windows have to be done, and the gardening has to be done. But that's big and bad and better. Versus, okay, but yeah, I wanna come back to a clean house, so let's spread it over the course of, like, the week. Though, that's the nervous system we're talking about, that's everyday life.
Everyday life. And I think one thing to end the nervous system off would be by saying yes to somebody else, or you're saying no to yourself. Boundary. Next up, number 2, mitochondrial and cellular health focus. Chris, do us the honors of explaining what mitochondria health is.
So what we do is we target energy at a cellular level, and what I often see clients is they are living on their adrenaline, their epinephrine, the norepinephrine, their cortisol, like, whatever it is, they're plowing into those adrenals to get them through the day. Energy comes from 3 things: carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. That is what energy comes from. So if you have fatigue, it could be a different complement. So when we target energy at a cellular level, it's we want to feed the body, we want to support it nutritionally, right? Minerals and vitamins and cofactors. Not just that, is how do you penetrate? I have an autoimmune, I constantly have dry skin. That is a cellular level something. It's not surface. It's not just, oh, Chris, you have dry skin. Because I could lube this sucker all day long. I'm going to look like a lizard by like 2 o'clock. So, and what I mean by this is we could be looking at like, I don't know. I call it like energy medicine. So energy medicine, there's even, I guess, Western is like a quantum biology, right? But what it is those deeper layers of healing. And one of the deeper layers of healing, we talked about, it's the nervous system. So if the nervous system is constantly like zzz all the time, then the cellular focus needs to be repositioned. How do you get into mitochondrial support? Well, sometimes I use supplementation. I love, love, love CoQ10 for that. Love it. Sometimes I love B vitamins, magnesium, trace minerals, whatever it is based on what that client's file is, right? I even love CoQ10 for animals, believe it or not. So at red light therapy, we love red light therapy.
Remember, like, your mitochondria, they're really important for those energy hungry tissues in your body, your brain, your heart, your muscles, your liver, your kidneys. And if you have poor mitochondrial function, you could be experiencing things like chronic fatigue, brain fog, hormonal imbalances, slow healing or aging, poor stress tolerance. Because the mitochondria, right, they're basically like mini little organs inside your cells. And each cell can have hundreds, thousands of them. And they produce something called ATP, which is that main energy currency that your body needs to function. But yes, red light therapy, I'm obsessed. I have been using the current body red light mask. I look like Iron Man and I have the chest panel as well.
You like?
I love it. I never thought I would be because I have the Orion panels. I use those especially on my back because I deal with chronic pain. But I never thought I would need the mask, but I recently got one early and it's been life-changing. I cannot rave enough about it. I have a code to save. I think it's 46 US and 65 Canadian. I'll put it in the show notes. But I use it every night and it's one of those wellness tools that I bought and I actually use and doesn't just sit in my closet and collect dust. So we did our minerals, we did our red light, anti-inflammatory nutrients, antioxidant nutrients. But also we're seeing a lot more rise, containing or keeping on that energy medicine is whether it's the biofield tuning, frequency therapy. I have a PEMF, device, so it's pulsated electromagnetic field therapy. I actually use that quite a bit myself. I bought this PEMF ring, which is based on Tesla tech. Whenever I use it, I actually feel different and feel better. Also, the role of light, magnetism, like magnet therapy has been really big, so all of that. Okay, next one, rooted ancestral eating, which I love.
Instead of like the whole 30 and the paleo and all of this stuff, yeah, I'm seeing this one. And this actually is a core front into holistic nutrition.
Yeah, because really, rooted ancestral eating is how human beings had to have traditionally ate for thousands and thousands of years before this modern industrial food system that we've been eating. But it's the industrial food revolution. It's only been a very small part of human existence. We have ate as ancestral for thousands of years, where we are focusing on nutrient density, seasonal cycles, a deep respect for food, land, culture. We have gotten so far away from this.
That's a thing. And I love that we're not, this is very much away from counting macros. So that's something because that creates that relationship, right? Now, essentially, the ancestral eating, it's that whole food, animal based nutrition, which is not going to be for vegans or vegetarians, right? Fermented foods, organ meats, and even I'll give you raw dairy if we're going to go right back to the roots.
Literally, it is just avoiding ultra processed, refined synthetic foods and eating natural forms, meats, vegetables, fruits, healthy fats, whole grains, and when it's tolerated. Society is so far gone when eating like this is considered a diet. They're like, that can't be healthy. Oh my God, what do you mean? You're only eating meats, fruits, and vegetables? That can't be healthy. And you're like, this is how we've eaten for all of time while you're sitting there eating a bag of Doritos.
North America, we've probably never done it right. You go to Europe and they are eating parts of the animal that would curl your toes because we're, again, not raised, right? It was awareness. And again, I'm like, look at that. And then they're like, well, why are these countries healthier?
It's focusing on pasture-raised meat, fatty fish, eggs, bone broth. They're eating organ meats. It's a lot of fermented or traditional foods. So the sauerkrauts, the kefirs, the kimchis, the sourdough, the fermented dairies. That includes the raw dairy for those that do tolerate it, opting for the raw dairy A2. That's the way to go for the more bioavailable enzyme rich than the pasteurization, nose to tail. And it's very seasonal and local eating because when we as human beings, if this was maybe 500 years ago, you weren't able to get food that wasn't in season. It's your climate. You're eating based on climate.
Your country is closer to the equator and you have warmth and hydration and you can grow crops all year long. I mean, there's still going to be seasons for them. Then yes, that might be more conducive to say plant based, right? Or higher grains, these types of things. However, I'm seeing this come back, that rooted ancestral eating over and over and over and over again. And you're right. I kind of look back and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to eat nose to tail. That's just not my jam. However, this should not be a fad. This is not should be our next trend.
Because remember, this is high in fat soluble nutrients like vitamins A, D, E, and K, your minerals, zinc, iron, selenium. It's supporting your metabolism, your fertility, your hormone balance, your immune strength. You're eating with the season, so your body's in tune with the seasonal changes in your environment. It helps your body's aligning to it. I think this is a please don't go anywhere. All right, next. Ready? Number 4, environmental and proper detox support. Because detox has been around for a while, but I think it's like the proper detox.
And I love this trend because, again, this is not underground holistic nutrition. This is not like new. So when we do the environmental and the detox supports, every time we see the word detox, we naturally think that it has to be supplementation or that we have to hit the liver hard. Or what if we started looking at the compound or that residual insult that needs to be detoxed? So emphasis on reducing toxic load from water, air, plastics, EMFs, personal care, all of those things. Really, environmental and detox support. And why I love this trend, again, not new, everybody, is because we're looking at lifestyle factors now as contributing factors. And I don't know if it's my algorithm and other people don't see this, but when I see about air purifiers or I see about different water purifiers or even a clean personal care product, that I'm like, dang, yeah, look at you guys go. Let's do this. But clients are coming in way more educated on this. Like, hey, Cris, what pots and pans can we get? Hey, which kind of toothpaste? What do you recommend for
And we've only
skincare?
seen this shift in the last, what, you'd say 4 years? Where people are coming in educated about it.
2025, whatever's happening right now, maybe it's AI, I have no idea, but I am letting you know 2025, we have woken up
And we're realizing, hey,
and we're
our
realizing
environment.
I'm gonna give some kudos, honestly, to RFK
Kudos
because
to RFK,
he came
absolutely.
out of that gate.
Strong.
Like, let me tell you, he was not riding no stallion, okay? He's on a solid bull at this point.
Yeah, the food dies, like, he is on it.
And the change I have seen already and the
Absolutely.
compliancy, even with top corps, like, this is a big deal. So the fact that this is maybe that's what it is.
It's
Either
a
way,
shift in the government.
it's a shift in authority.
Yeah, because people are like, "Oh, you can't be running rampant with food dyes anymore." Like, that's a no.
So I hope this isn't a trend because
I hope, yeah, I hope
this
it
should not
continues.
be a trend. I mean, electronics aren't going to go away. I mean, we have cyber trucks. We have microwaves on meals. Okay, electronics isn't going to go away. So what do? We have lymphatic drainage. We might use castor oil, of course. I do have to appease the FDA and say it's only for mild constipation. For me, I have a sauna, right? Red light that we talked about. We have to make sure when it comes to the body and detox, it's the drainage pathways. So our is the lymphatics, that's manual stimulation, right? So the big six, these types of things. We have to look at bile because it breaks things down. It eliminates bowels,
Bowel
liver,
movements.
lungs, like kidneys, these types of things. We have to prioritize these systems, and to prioritize, we have to look at how we're eating, how we're supporting our nervous system and our cellular. So you see how all these top trends, they're not separate, they're all together.
Yep, these all weave into each other.
And this is functional nutrition 101 right here.
I recently saw, I was recently at the hospital, and I was speaking with the OB, and she's like, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" And I said, "Oh, I'm a nutritionist." And she goes, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing." She goes, "We need more people like you because," and this is a young doctor. She's like, "In medical school, I learned 0 about nutrition, and it is insane."
This is part of that paradox because now we're seeing, oh, we need this. These worlds have to come together. This can't be a pharmaceutical FDA based the WHO, CRDC, whatever. Like these corporations are outdated.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure they're there for a reason, but they're outdated. I mean, whether it's agenda based, whether it's ignorance, whatever, it's money. I don't care. But in order to detoxify our system, we need true applications like walking, meditation, loving yourself, getting a break, not hustle and bustle, more money, more money. I mean, we might have molds and parasites, heavy metals, right? Because obviously we see those things. And we might phase those in through protocols, and that's part of that detoxification system. But it's not everything. Please don't think detox liver, because that's the last decade that we've been taught.
It is your skin, lungs, colon, kidneys, lymphatics. I'm missing one. Oh, liver. You have multiple organs of detoxification, and it is about the things that you were doing every single day, removing the toxins as much as possible from your environment, whether you're getting water filters and air purifiers. Like, you don't have to go crazy, but slowly implementing these things. Like, for me, I live in Niagara. I live surrounded by orchards and wineries and farmers' fields. You better believe I have a high pesticide exposure, so I know my heavy metals aren't going to be great. So I will run my hair trace mineral analysis every 9 months, look at what's happening there, and then I'll do some type of detoxification. But it's a combination of the things I do every day and then those bigger detox protocols that I'll do through food and specific supplements a few times a year.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, the liver is of utmost importance to our body. It can be traced back to every illness, disease, disorder. So when it's not healthy, right? So I get that. However, I just want people to understand that why is this trending? Because this isn't new. It's trending because we've gone so far the other way that we have to put in these fancy words to say we have to do all of this stuff.
All right, ready for the last one?
Yep.
Circadian rhythm and light hygiene. This has been another one, and we've been talking about this for a while. And what was interesting is I talked about this, maybe I did a post on it, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And it was so wildly popular because it was a new idea. Now I'm beginning to see it more and more. So when we're talking about your circadian rhythm, we're talking about light hygiene. Remember, when having the right light exposure is going to be great for your hormones, for your metabolic signaling. Like, for what example would be something called your cortisol awakening response. So you have a healthy rise in cortisol after waking. So it peaks at about 30 minutes after you wake up, then it's going to gradually decline throughout the day. This is preparing your brain and your body to transition from sleep to alertness, right? We got stuff going on. This is going to be helping to regulate energy, focus, immune response, blood sugar balance, hormone production, resilience to stress throughout your day, whole bunch of stuff. Digestion. But when we're dealing with a blunted, some abnormal cortisol awakening response, burnout, chronic stress, adrenal dysfunction, depression, low mood in the morning, sleep issues, circadian rhythm disruption, low motivation, morning anxiety. So how we can really start to love up and use light therapy would be when you wake up, if you can, get outside within 20 to 30 minutes of waking to get the natural light response into your eyeballs, because this is going to trigger that cortisol and suppress the melatonin. If you can't get outside, stand in a sunny window, like just open. I did this morning. I knew I wasn't going to get outside. I just stood in my sunny window. Yeah, don't forget your SPF, 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 SPF. And again, if you have control over this, consistent bedtimes, go to bed at the same time and wake up at the same time every day. It's not like Monday to Friday, you're going to bed at this time and waking up at 7, but then on the weekend, you're sleeping till noon. This is going to confuse your body. We want to be supporting the natural rhythm.
Yeah, absolutely. It just really helps recalibrate the body. So when we bought our new house, I have blinds that you can't see in, but it lets the light in. I wanted the light. And why did I want not blackout? Because the big thing was before is blackouts, blackouts, blackouts. If you're shift work, I'm going to agree. However, I want the light to come up because that light then triggers that hormone, which is our cortisol, to say, hey, we got to come alive. And melatonin's like, hey, catch it tomorrow night or catch it later tonight, right? When it's going to pick back up. So I do stuff like that. To Katie's dismay, my right side that is always like light is I have this big, massive window. She's like, get blackouts. And I'm like, I can't. I can't. Do you hear her sigh? And this is all me, guys. This is natural. I'm going to switch my desk just to appease Katie. Artificial light hygiene is kind of like what I like to call it. That's like the big encompassing. On my computers, I have the brightness turned down. I have set. So on certain things, depending on the types of applications you have, I have it set so my phone goes into night mode and it actually warms up, or it goes from a blue light over to a red tone. So if I'm looking at it, it's not stimulating, right? These types of things. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. The reason why we have the light is one, for growth, vegetation, and two, we also need it. It's very important to us. I mean, they even say that sunglasses are a farce. You shouldn't be blocking the sunlight, right? If you have light blue eyes or very light, I will tell you, you go outside without sunglasses, it feels like we're in Wizard of Oz and somebody just put water on us, or we're Superman and somebody just gave us like the kryptonite.
My eyes can't, like, I physically need sunglasses because of my poor light
Yeah,
eyes.
because your body just processes differently, right? However, my kids don't wear them and they've adjusted their eyes like that.
Maybe I should try it out. Take one from the
Yeah,
kids.
I can't. I don't know if I can do it.
Also avoiding your screens first thing in the morning and before bed. So we're not rolling out of bed and looking at our phone. We're not scrolling on our phone before bed. And then avoiding really bright light after sunset. So, like, as soon as the sun goes down in my house, I'm turning all the overhead lights off and I'm putting the lamps on and making sure that it's like that cozy environment at night. So it's like, okay, time to go to bed.
When we only have like what feels like 3.5 hours of daylight, if we have to get an artificial light, like a happy light and stuff, they've been tested for stuff like that. Just looking at that, that's really helpful because when it starts to get dark, you start to get tired. That's natural. But we need to align our lifestyle with the natural rhythm of a circadian rhythm, the day-night transition. Because think about fertility, adrenals, metabolism, cellular health, all of this, detoxification, it is all important and it's needed.
It is. All right. That was the trends that we're seeing, health and wellness. As always,
Expect more, everybody, because I love this.
expect more because Cris loves them. And remember, if you want help with your health, anything going on, we're always here at the Clear Skin Solution. Check the show notes. We'd love to have you come hang out with us. We're fun, as you can tell. So come hang out. That's all for us here at the Clear Skin Chronicles. We'll see you next week.